This is your First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works with meteorologist Evan Thomason.
Hey, yo, it is First Alert Weather Breakdown time. Hey. Let me not break the setup. Anyways, it's Friday. Well, come on. Trust me, everything's okay. We're all good. Maybe I've had a little too much energy drink. But anyways, it's Friday. Cause for celebration, okay? Look, we try to add a little bit of pizzazz here, okay, to the First Alert Weather Breakdown. That's our weather podcast here at KSLA News 12. Someone who is probably too excited to be on here on a Friday is myself, meteorologist Evan Thomason. Thank you very much for joining me here for your end of the work week. But the rain's back, so do with that as you will. So, good news, maybe bad news, although it's good news for those of you who want a relief from the heat, because the rain is giving us the relief away from the heat. Now, I know some of you on my social media have been like, oh my goodness, oh no, the rain's back, I got to worry about it for the weekend, that kind of thing. But at the same point, again, it's the cooler air as well. And, well, it's like, Evan, why can't we have the cooler air around with sunshine? Well, that just isn't a typical pattern at all for summer standards. It's pretty much we pretty much have two modes in summer. You're either hot, incredibly hot, and you're sunny, or you're warm and you're rainy. There's no in between, pretty much. So we switch over to pretty much warm and rainy here for the weekend, and that's for those of you that do get in on the rain action, which I think a good amount of us will over the course of the next 3 days. We have 3 days where we have chances for storms here in the ArkLaTex, which goes from Friday all the way, through Sunday. But some of those days where some of you might not even see a rain shower at all. So, yeah. Just the point is, we just have the presence of storms in the ArkLaTex, which you're going to have to track here for the next 3 days, at least all the way through Sunday. All right, I want to welcome those of you watching on our YouTube page. Thank you very much for joining us. Always feel free to leave a comment. As today, we are going over the regional weekend travel forecast. That's our exclusive content here for the day today. If you're traveling out towards Dallas, if you're traveling to New Orleans, Little Rock, Jackson, anywhere outside of the ArkLaTex, we have a forecast kind of tailored to more of a regional aspect rather than just talking about local ArkLaTex weather. Obviously, we will be talking about local ArkLaTex weather. We always do that. Every single First Alert Weather Breakdown, we go in depth into our local forecast, but essentially on Fridays, we go more in depth into what's going on all around us, essentially, here for the day today. All right, so let's hop on into what's going on here all around us. Here's a live look into downtown Shreveport and Bossier. Beautiful blue skies and some sunshine coming on through. If you do notice, yes, we do have the cloud cover there, but if you look a little closely at that cloud cover, first of all, A, it doesn't look threatening if you just look at it on the surface, and B, it's thin skies, which don't produce any rainfall at all. But the point is, we are bringing in at least a little bit of moisture to give us a little bit of cloud cover here for now, but eventually more and more moisture is going to be coming and trekking into the region here for the day today, and you'll start to see that a lot more on the cameras once we get into the afternoon. Start developing more cumulus clouds, which are the cloud cover which are the clouds that look a little more threatening and give us a little more of a chance for storms, period, around the region. All right. Beyond Shreveport, we're also looking into Texarkana. Kind of a similar outlook on the camera as well. Still plenty of sunshine coming on through, but still a good amount of high-level cloud cover around there. So here for the day today, again, rain is back. That's probably our biggest headline here for today. Heat's still with us, but it's finally not a headline where I'm just talking about heat. I mean, I've been on the record for the past 4 days. Well, for me, for the past 2 days on here. CJ was on Monday and Tuesday. But the point is, our forecast all work week long has been heat, which it still is vital here for the day today. Believe it or not, we are under another heat advisory here for your Friday. But now we actually have rain to talk about and actively track around the ArkLaTex here later on today. Tomorrow is probably a rainy day. If you had to call and if you had to pick a rainy day out of our 3-day stretch with chances of rain, Overall, the greatest chance of storms and the most numerous amounts of storms found around the ArkLaTex, I personally believe, is going to be in store for tomorrow and for your Saturday. Then next work week, we're back to the hot, sunny pattern around the ArkLaTex. Yeah. So almost the same thing that happened this from Monday through Thursday, where we had high temperatures around 100 degrees and sunshine, back in store here for next work week. But you do see a little rainy icon on there. That's because rain will be coming back next week, and so that's going to limit the amount of time that we're hanging around with the hot sunshine. And overall, I think that period of time is going to be briefer and shorter. Shorter is the better word. Shorter than the period of time that we held the sunshine and incredible heat over this past week or so. So that was just a quick summary. I'm going to explain everything a little more in depth, obviously, coming on up. Let's get to the temperatures first. I always like talking about temperatures first because, I don't know, more the nitty-gritty information always kind of hangs around with the actual skyline, the actual rain. It's a little more, yeah, you get the point. Anyways, temperatures, 90 degrees in Shreveport and Texarkana, 85 in Natchitoches, 86 in DeQueen, 85 in Mount Pleasant here for the day today, or currently right now. That's not for today. The highs are getting much more above that, but the point is, feels like temperatures already above 100 degrees in Texarkana, 98 in Shreveport. We're pretty much in the upper 90s here for most of us around the ArkLaTex. It feels like temperatures, and these are feels like temperatures that are going to be sustained once again to 105 and 110 here for the day today. I know the rain's back, and yes, I did say that was going to cool us off just a little bit. But the thing is, and I do before I get to my last little statement here about that, we do have feels like temperatures that are still going to be incredibly hot here for this afternoon. The rain will try to cool us off just a little bit. Problem is, we just have a little bit of rain here for today, which is not going to cool us off enough. And the other thing is, the rain doesn't form until the afternoon, when we've already heated things up a good bit. So, again, heat advisory in place here throughout the ArkLaTex today, as high temperatures finally not around 100 degrees. Last 3 to 4 days, I mean, it's just been copy-paste from day to day. But, hey, at least a little change in the temperature department to be a tiny bit cooler. Now, when I say 97 degrees in Texarkana is a cool day, no. 93 in Carthage this afternoon, 92 in Marshall, 95 in Shreveport, 94 in Natchitoches, 93 in Bienville. For the feels like temperatures in the afternoon, they're going to get way up there, right up to around the 105 to 110 range again for this afternoon. Now, with rain more around here for Saturday, and for those of you who've been looking forward to the relief coming on Saturday, again, it's just a little bit. You'll see it drop just a little bit for the feels like temperatures, to where on this map it's looking like more the 100 to 105 range. Some of us not even reaching up to 100 degrees for feels like temperatures here for tomorrow. So essentially, you taper off the temperatures by 5 degrees, which again is some relief, but still lots of heat trapped in the ArkLaTex, and we don't really have a massive cold front per se coming on in. So again, highs tomorrow are in the lower 90s, but then when we fully get back out the sunshine, when we fully dry things out, most specifically, that's when we get that intense heat working back in here, and that's when temperatures go back up to 100 degrees, which pretty much is in store once we get into next work week on Monday. So let's look at the full temperatures here for you. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty with the rain. So this is the system that's bringing us our rain chances over the next 3 days. High pressure system is now gone, and essentially we've already seen a good amount of cloud cover yesterday. We're already seeing some a little bit early this morning, although it is in higher levels. The cloud cover is still extending in the northern edge of the system up into the ArkLaTex. You can kind of see that up in here. You see the more intense colors, which indicates, if you ever see the colors on the IR satellite picture, and this is why I always love looking at this map, indicates higher cloud tops, indicates thunderstorms because they have more power. If a thunderstorm is taller, when it has the color, it usually has more power, more weight to it to be able to produce those heavy thunderstorms. So essentially, that's all located in the deep in the northern end of the Gulf, which essentially is the tropics. And this has been a system brewing out of the quote-unquote tropics in the northern Gulf here for the past 2 days or so, honestly. Now, this area of interest, believe it or not, still is holding on for dear life for getting a name. It technically, from the National Hurricane Center, they're giving it a 10% chance of forming within the next day or so. Overall, you don't like your odds with 10% chance. And the point is, it shouldn't become a named storm. But still, this is a tropical, what we call a tropical area of interest, which still forms deep tropical moisture, which you're finding in all these yellow and orange shapes. And essentially, they're trying to rotate northward. And that's going to be the issue, is eventually this system tries to move itself just a little bit enough onshore to give us rounds of storms that do push northward, north enough so that they reach the ArkLaTex. And that really starts today, especially with the proximity of the core of the system pretty much directly off to our south. The daytime heating on land is what's going to amplify all these storms to eventually come all the way northward to where they need to be. So that's what we're watching out here for this afternoon. So let's get into the current picture of the radar. Again, locally, you notice clouds, but nothing thick. Nothing that, screams, I don't know, thunderstorms per se, because we don't have the color that we saw on our satellite in, say, the northern Gulf, which is where the scattered storms are. So here it's a whole rainy outlook, essentially along the Gulf Coast, especially if you're in the southern portion of these kind of states, such as Alabama, Mississippi, just pop-up storms, even the western edge of Florida, Panama City, that kind of area getting rain. As for a little more regionally, this rain is getting a little more scarce in the areas in New Orleans and the I-10 corridor. But I will say, notice how in Mississippi, storms are already reaching up near there. Well, the point is these storms are going to try to form a little bit farther on the western edge of this system out towards here. And soon enough, these storms will form to where they're forming in areas like Natchitoches, in between Natchitoches and Ruston, and then they're trying to rotate around into the rest of the ArkLaTex. We'll show you that here in our future track. But that's just a current look at our first alert Doppler radar. I'll let you know we're pretty much clear of any rain here for the moment. But again, that's going to change here for this afternoon. We're going hour by hour on this future track here for you. Again, we have rain off to our east, and a few storms form here locally in the ArkLaTex. They're trying to form storms, looks like in eastern Texas and as far north as Texarkana. Now, to be fair, these cells look a little bit, I wouldn't say few, but isolated overall, and it certainly doesn't look like a whole blanket of rain around the whole region. So looks like we got a line coming on through here for the afternoon hours across eastern Texas, and another one billowing into areas of northwest Louisiana here for the afternoon before fizzling out here for tonight. And believe it or not, this is a more impressive future track that I've seen with this system compared to what I saw with the future track that was happening here earlier this morning, or that was running here earlier this morning. So I'm actually increased the rain chances for the noon show, which is the next show coming on up. Because we only had a 20% rain chance, believe it or not, for today, because I expected those storms to be few and far between. But hey, that latest future track, I'm kind of forecasting with you guys like live on the spot here. That looks a lot more widespread than what was originally predicted here from me. So probably expecting more numerous storms here for this afternoon, which kind of unfortunate for you. But Saturday was going to be our rainy day, so let's check it out. Here in the morning hours, obviously it kind of remains dry because most of these storms, again, are triggered by the heat of the afternoon. First thing in the afternoon, storms popping up around the I-30 corridor, but overall, these storms happen anywhere. And this is what we're expecting here throughout the day Saturday. Pretty much scattered storms during the heat of the afternoon, pretty much in most places around the ArkLaTex here for you before fizzling out late at night. Then for Sunday, again, next 3 days have chances of storms. Sunday storms look to be more present across the southern half of the ArkLaTex. I'll replay it there for you one more time on Sunday. Natchitoches, Nacogdoches, and as far north as the the I-20 corridor are catching in onto those storms here for Sunday afternoon before we dry up on Monday. Of course, right when we get into next work week. So again, we're doing hit and miss with the storms here over the next 3 days. But especially when it comes to these summer kind of storms, anything in the afternoon goes. If you want to plan your day, your weekend, the morning, always the best way to dodge the storms is to have the plans then set up for you then. All right, I put the long-range future track here for you because I wanted to show you something real quick. I don't know why that just fast-forward all the way real quick to next week. I mean, I do want to do that, but not that instantly. So here by Monday, I'm going to show you what's happening here early next week. For Monday, most of the rain is pretty much gone off to our north, which is good. And Monday and Tuesday, pretty much dry around here. Wednesday and Thursday, though, watch for systems. And overall, you kind of saw it on Monday and Tuesday where systems are still staying kind of close to us with some rain. But essentially, we get rain chances here locally, it looks like, into Wednesday, Thursday. And there is even on longer-term future tracks, there's which are not in our system. They're showing us storms even for Friday of next week, which, again, with the I mentioned this earlier, there's only two main patterns here in the summer. There's either hot and incredibly hot and sunny, or it's very warm and rainy. And anytime you bring that rain back into the picture, it's going to drop the temperatures, at least off just enough to make it a little more comfortable around here. So I'll show you this more in the 7-day forecast, which is coming up next. But essentially, our hot and sunny streak here next week is going to be short-lived. More on that in just a moment. But again, for the weekend, you're going to be hit and missing with the storms here, especially for Saturday. We did notice there's going to be a lot more numerous and a lot more storms that cover the entire ArkLaTex here for your Saturday as compared to Sunday. Sunday, still a number of storms around, but most of it's around for the southern half of the ArkLaTex. So if you're in Natchitoches, I'm expecting greater rain chances, and for your Sunday, even for today as well. So Natchitoches not looking too good over the next 3 days or so. Then Monday and Tuesday, that's your dry streak. Remember, this previous work week, we had our 100-degree days with sunshine Monday through Thursday. That's only going to look to last on Monday and Tuesday, pretty much only next week. So it's going to be in store for 2 days, yes. But then comes back the rain, which is, you see, the temperatures, I mean, they don't drop too much, but it's something. Highs are down to 96 on Thursday. And if it continues, and if the rain persists a little bit longer into, say, Friday, next Friday that is, which looks likely at this point, then it could cool off the temperature even more. The point is our forecasts all long term between like Wednesday of next week to the following weekend are looking rainy. To be quite frank with you, which could bring in just, again, as I said, slightly cooler air back into the region. But first and foremost, watch out for the rain over the weekend. I do think, especially for that last future track, I do think that I'm going to increase the rain chances here locally over the next 2 days or so. We'll see. But I'm going to do that outside of the podcast here for you. But anyways, thanks for watching the local forecast. Coming up next, we're going to expand our horizons. I kind of showed you what's happening regionally in a way, but I only showed you what was regionally happening kind of currently with the storms currently around Houston to New Orleans. But I'm going to give you a forecast for, say, Houston and New Orleans for the weekend coming up, okay? We're going to taper our forecast to a little more of a, essentially zooming out and see what we're looking at in different spots if you're traveling around the ArkLaTex. We'll have that forecast for you in store again after a quick water break. See you after this. Hello. Welcome back. There we go. Hi, I'm back. First alert meteorologist Evan Thomas, and again, we're tapering our forecast now to a little more of a regional outlook. Give me a moment, actually, to set this up. I was talking with somebody behind the scenes real quick about some other things happening behind the scenes. But anyways, yeah, we're tapering into again a look at a forecast for those of you traveling essentially outside of the ArkLaTex, because hey, get out there, enjoy the weekend, even if it's going to be a little rainy. You can find some ways to either A, have some good times with friends indoors in like a cabin in the woods, or just go out at opportune times and then sleep when the rain's around. Just an idea, okay? Now, is it, optimal to sleep during the heat of the afternoon? It's not really on your body clock, so to speak. But hey, power to you if you're able to do it, because rain does, and I can confirm this for myself, but rain usually makes for a good sleep time, so to speak. A good sleep overall. Anyways, let's get to the forecast, because, again, not only is the rain going to be as it usually is, rain is not going to be just impacting the ArkLaTex here locally for the weekend, especially with this kind of a system that's striking along the coastline right now. But this is going to be impacting a good portion of our regional area here for the weekend. Now, something I haven't even discussed too much here, not only this morning or period at all, is kind of that line of storms that's off to the north. But you see on the latest loop, and this was actually impacting, believe it or not, a little line of storms that you see there that's slowly moving northward. That was impacting Oklahoma, as far east as Oklahoma City. Here early in the overnight hours, but most of that system is continuing to move up north and east, and it's kind of making way for that little round of tropical moisture that's going to be rolling into the ArkLaTex, essentially, but into other areas of our regional area. As we saw on the, and I'll bring it back to you, on our look at our current first alert Doppler radar here, the rain is pretty much widespread all around the southeast. I mean, you can go even off the coast of Florida, even on the Florida Peninsula, dealing with a couple showers around there, but a little more closer to home, because we're regional boundaries of what we pretty much forecast for between Dallas, Jackson, New Orleans, Houston, and Little Rock. Mississippi dealing with a good amount of rain showers out right now from this whole system. Again, most of these showers moving from the south pretty much directly northward, which is not uncommon during this time, but maybe a little. It moves in kind of in a common direction. The point is, it's not springtime when the storms are just moving directly west to east. So again, storms are moving south to north here for the day. Most of them are along the coastline, especially out towards New Orleans, Mobile, that kind of area. So all eyes are on what this big, giant tropical bubble does there in the Gulf. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and remove myself so you can see these full thing unfold here for you. So this is going to continue on the coastline and amplify here into the afternoon, but especially into, say, the afternoon commute home, storms move a lot more on shore, and that's what's impacting the ArkLaTex later this afternoon. But some of that storm coverage definitely moves into, say, central Mississippi, a lot more into the coastline around Houston. But I will say, if you're headed out towards Little Rock or Dallas here for the day today, you should be fine, as most of the rain kind of halts/stops on a line in between Houston and Shreveport to kind of Shreveport and Jackson, if you notice. It doesn't get into too many portions of Arkansas here today, and it looks like it's not even reaching into areas around Dallas here, at least for tonight. But hey, that's just for today. Then for tomorrow, it's more coastal storms setting up shop again here for tomorrow morning, right along the coast. Houston, New Orleans, it's right around you. And then there comes the most storm coverage around the ArkLaTex, probably here for tomorrow afternoon. But some of that storm coverage could be reaching as far west as Dallas and as far north as Little Rock here for your Saturday, with still a good amount of rain all across Mississippi. Then heading on into your Sunday, last day of the weekend. Again, if you notice, this is a small, not small, but a what was I looking for? Not small. Oh my goodness, I'm having a brain fart. It is a slow. I was looking for the other S word to describe a moving system. It is a slow moving system. There we go. It's Friday, guys. Maybe my brain's moving a little slow here for the day today. But the point is, it's a slow moving system, because we still have rain chances in for Sunday afternoon. Granted, if you see on the loop, it doesn't look nearly as impressive as what's coming down here for Friday and Saturday. It looks like still more coastal showers, chance for some storms still around Arkansas. Looks like everybody around the I-20 corridor, right in between, kind of lucks out and stays mostly dry here, hopefully, in the meantime. And then give you a hint as to what's happening next week. It looks like we dry out most of our regional area for the most part here for your Monday and Tuesday. So to go over that in kind of a text and also icon little format here for you. Current conditions, not many people, well, there's, again, spotty storms here for now, but most of that's because of the morning hour. So for now, a good amount of cloud cover around, except around Dallas. 90 degrees right now in Dallas, heating up with the sunshine. The rest of us are hanging around in the 80s here for the most part, excuse me. And for the rest of the day, those of you that do see rain, or those of you that do see cloud cover out for now, we're going to be dealing with rain showers here for this afternoon. It does look like some of that could reach Little Rock. So if you're trying to maneuver like a trip here for Friday immediately after work, well, you're going to be having quite the trip there, so to speak. The point is it's going to be through the rain, most likely, wherever you're going, except if you're going to Dallas. Dallas, a high of 101 here for this afternoon, hanging around with the sunshine. It looked like, they look like they're the only town that's hanging around with the sunshine here, at least here through Friday. That's Friday. Saturday, here for tomorrow, more storms, mostly out towards Jackson, Houston. I will say there is probably a chance of storms even in New Orleans here for tomorrow, but looks like areas of the northern end, up towards Little Rock, Dallas, aren't getting as many storms. But again, as we mentioned, Saturday is kind of a rainy day here locally in the ArkLaTex. So if you go north or west, you'll hang around a little dry here, a little drier for Saturday. And then Sunday is looking like the least impressive day. Houston, I mean, it looks like you have a rainy weekend entirely for you, with rain projected here for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. All alike. I'm expecting a slim chance of some storms even by New Orleans here for Sunday, too. Again, those coastal showers staying almost in place here through the weekend. It's just how many of those coastal showers go farther northward in over the next couple of days. Which, hey, Dallas, beautiful weekend. Houston, though, not so much. Not so much. That's essentially what's going on. All right, that is the end of our episode. That's the end of our whole work week's worth of First Alert Weather Breakdowns. Thank you very much for joining me here for the day today. Yeah, hopefully that was good. Hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, which I don't see any in our live chat on YouTube, then we're good to go here for the weekend. Again, just keep yourself weather aware with the rain around. Again, chances of storms here locally in the ArkLaTex are in store for the next 3 days, albeit some of them low, and some days you won't even see any storms at all, which, hey, kudos to you. But keep your head on a swivel still. We have our First Alert Weather app for a reason. If we're not on air, you can just track the radar on your own time. Thankfully, I really haven't mentioned this at all, but there's not much of a chance of severe weather at all today. You should be fine in that case. So I think there's a slim risk of flash flooding here for tomorrow's storms, but that's it. That's mainly due to pockets of heavy rainfall, which could give us as much as an inch of rain here for tomorrow in very localized areas, but we'll see. The point is, we're not dealing with tornadoes. We're no tornadoes, none of that, so to speak. Anyways, enjoy your weekend. We'll be back Monday at 10:30. I will be your host Monday at 10:30. Believe it or not. I'm still formatting my schedule here for next week, so we'll see what happens here for Monday then for you. CJ should be the host on Tuesday if you're looking forward to him coming back into the picture. I'll be your host on Monday, then CJ will be the host for the First Alert Weather Breakdown on Tuesday's episode. But that'll be next work week on 10:30. As for this weekend, you have a great weekend. Woo! I'll see you Monday, 10:30. Have a great one. See ya.